Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to start off with some of the more visual audio stuff, starting with the best male voiceover. And you're going to flame me for this one, I know it. Nominees are Martin Walker from Spec Ops: The Line, not just because Nolan North is in everything, but because if anything, that game shows his acting chops. It really does. Death in Darksiders 2, because you cannot hate the snarky asshole that he is. And I can't believe this one's been overlooked by just about everyone. Skullmageddon from Double Dragon Neon. I mean, the voice works. It's Skeletor. It's old school Skeletor from He-Man. It really is. And it's just absolutely hilarious, and it works for the cheesy 80s flashback game that it is. But, Martin Walker wins. I praised Spec Ops: The Line when I reviewed it. There are some issues with it. It wasn't exactly a perfect game, but no game is. But the thing that keeps ringing in my mind is Nolan North's performance as Martin Walker. Going from the straight-laced, goody two-shoes soldier to someone who's just losing his mind. Just ranging from almost professional to chaotic. That seamlessly. And, you know, if I was voicing this character, I'd want to have as much fun and do something like that. And it shows that Nolan North had a lot of fun and cared about the character. I mean, he's a great voice actor. He does Deadpool fantastically. He did Nathan Drake. But he doesn't really shine in those roles. He did in this one. If you hadn't played Spec Ops: The Line yet, go play it, seriously. Amazing game. Now, this one's a bit harder. The best female voiceover. This is harder because, well, it's a smaller category. It really is. The first one I could think of is Clementine from Walking Dead. And I know she won the VGA. I really do, but get to the other nominees first. Remember, I'm counting newer games as well. Citra from Far Cry 3, and not just because of the scene in the middle of the game. And another character that is completely overlooked. And I don't know why. I really don't know why she's overlooked. Emily from Dishonored. And I don't know why she's overlooked due to the fact that, well, you could kind of hear, like especially in the end of the game, a bit of a spoiler here. If you go the Chaos route, she says something like, "Oh, you killed them all. That's okay, I was going to do it anyway." And you just, there's this chilling numbness in her voice. Absolutely creepy. But I'm going to have to give it to Citra. And like I said, it's not because of what she does to your character in the middle of the game. It's because, well, the voice works. No other reason than that other than it works. And it's a voice that sounds like an Islander. One of the few complaints I have in Far Cry 3 is some of the Islanders sound British. And they're supposed to be off the Pacific coast, or Asian Pacific coast, something like that. But Citra sounds like she's from that region. Then again, so does the crazy woman that calls you a puppet and keeps on going like this. But Citra, more than anything, that and kind of the way she enunciates everything. The way she tries to seduce you with her words, yet at the same time, when she's talking about other characters, she's kind of pushing them away. You can kind of get that sense. Moving on, though. Best advancement in the series. And I only have 2 nominees for this. It's Black Ops 2 and Far Cry 3. And the funny thing is, they're both nominated for doing pretty much the same damn thing. The wingsuit, the hand gliders, introducing gadgets that are worthy of the game and not necessarily QuickTime events. But I'm going to give it to Far Cry 3 because as much as Black Ops 2 did this right, Far Cry 3 did it better. I can't explain that. I really can't. The wingsuit in Black Ops 2 didn't feel flighty enough. It still felt like you were walking. Where in Far Cry 3 it feels like you're flying. The hand glider feels like you're flying. Everything feels like what it's supposed to do. Where Black Ops 2, you're still playing this game. You're still playing Call of Duty. Best... Oh crap, release. Okami should have been nominated. Oh well. Best underrated game. And I'm giving it to Warfighter. I think it's one of the most underrated games because people criticized it for being just what it is. It's a first-person shooter, people. Get over it. They're pretty much all the same anymore with the exceptions of, say, Far Cry 3, Black Ops 2 being slightly different. I don't count Dishonored as a shooter, but you could kind of put that in the first-person category as being different. But the thing is, Warfighter... As much as Call of Duty likes to say, hey, we use realistic techniques, Medal of Honor series has done it better. And Warfighter kinda... Not as much as Battlefield 3 did, but does it pretty damn well. Though, I think, of all the DICE games, Battlefield 3 has the best oh shit moment with the, it's too quiet in here. My first reaction is, yep, they're going to attack. Though, the next one, most emotional scene. I would love to give it to Medal of Honor for this. It is nominated because of Mother. Just the whole prelude to what happens up with it's better to have them happy than to have them safe. And then Mother's just before getting killed, being a snarky asshole. And dying right in front of you. But, to no one's surprise, let's think about who would win this. The one game that can make Schwarzenegger cry. Walking Dead. Hands down. Every moment, every death has an impact on your character, and you realize it has an impact on you. It's brilliant how they did it, and the fact that your choices can make a difference on who survives and who dies. The fact that in the 4th episode you could feel bad for letting someone die even though he wants to die so he could do something good for your group. And if anyone can get through episode 3 without crying, you have no heart. Plain and simple. Ah, God. Duck. Shut up. See? That's all you have to say is, duck. And the reaction is, no! Next nominee is Best Download, or Best Small Downloadable Game. Now, this is small budget, or games that not everybody talks about. So Walking Dead winning the downloadable game is not on this list. Tokyo Jungle, on the other hand, is. And the other nominee I have, Mushing
Mushing your words?
Yes.
Machinarium.
Actually, it's Machinarium.
Machinarium, whatever.
And Machinarium wins this. And if you want to know why, I'll tell you. It's an old school graphic adventure in every level. Every scene is a different graphic adventure type scenario. And I haven't played it in a while, but if you're into graphic adventures like I was, point and click style, it's nostalgia made into a game. And I think it's just only like $5. Definitely worth the money. Getting close to the end here with worst sequel. Nominees are Hitman Absolution, Need for Speed Most Wanted, for not being a fucking racing game. Oh god, and what was the other? Oh, yeah. Resident Evil 6 and Borderlands 2. And this is going to be a hard one to give out, because I'm tossed up between 3 of them personally.
You're not including Darkness 2 in that?
No. Now that screwed up the IP enough that it shouldn't be worthy for this award. It raped everything. I am going to have to give it to Hitman Absolution. Resident Evil 6 was a god-awful game. Let's get that out of the way. The first scenario that you have to play, or you can play, Leon's, is actually chronologically the last one in the game. So you fight the last boss before you fight all the other ones. And you fight him like 10 times, too. The AI is utter shit in it. Hey, I'm a zombie, I'm gonna walk off a bridge. But Hitman, ranging from its awful characters, clunky gameplay, and a score system that every time you do something that the game says you can do but doesn't want you to do, detracts it. Hey, use this disguise. By the way, you used the disguise minus 100 points. You knocked this guy out, but you didn't kill him, minus 1,000. You killed this guy, but you could have knocked him out to take his disguise, minus 12,100. Don't put a score system in then, you bastards! But I think the biggest thing about Hitman Absolution that makes me hate it more than anything, other than the N-word being in it for no reason, is casting Tracy Lords as the bad guy's secretary and having her boss battle be she strips for you and then tries to kill you when you're not looking. I'm dead fucking serious. It's not funny. It's god awful. I can't even say it's offensive. It's just dumb. Best sequel, though. Far Cry 3. No shit. And then was there any other good sequels this year? Oh, Darksiders 2. But in Silent Hill Downpour. I'm gonna have to give it to Far Cry 3. I haven't reviewed it yet. I might not. Not sure. But so far, the game has just completely blown me away. Downpour didn't have the same effect. Darksiders 2 got tedious for me. I'm not a big RPG guy. But Far Cry 3, just an amazing game all around. It could stand alone as its own game, and people would still love it. And that's the way sequels should be. Their own game, their own story, not continuing like Gears of War did. Oh, the same story over and over, just in segments. No, this is its own. That's what makes this a great fucking game. Worst boss battle. Nominees. Resident Evil 6. No surprise. Need for Speed Most Wanted. And Darksiders 2. I know, I just said Darksiders 2 was the best sequel, but now you know why I didn't win. This boss battle was utter shit. Need for Speed Most Wanted gets this, though. Because, oh, and SSX. SSX was nominated too, but... The reason Need for Speed wins this? Beat this guy in a race and get his car. By the way, you beat him in the race, but you don't get his car until you crash him. And that's if you're lucky enough to beat him in the race, because the game fucking cheats. If you beat him in the race, but you don't have a certain power-up, that car wins no matter what. Yeah. It's shitty. Best boss encounter. Now, I think I'm going to use the term loosely because Dishonored's on the list for Havelock. But the other nominees, the Ink Boss in Far Cry 3. Oh. And normally I don't nominate the same game twice. Voss in Far Cry 3. And what's funny, and the, oh god, last nominee. The final boss in Downpour, the Wheelman. Now, what's funny about Far Cry 3 getting nominated twice for this, the Ink Boss is phenomenal. Just, as soon as I saw him, I'm like... And Voss's boss battle is just a... It's a mindfuck, isn't it?
Just a bit.
But I'm giving it to the Wheelman in Downpour. Because, the payoff is fucking worth it in it. You're not fighting this thing, you're dismantling it. And the whole time you're doing it, you kind of realize what's going to happen. And once it does, you're just devastated. There's also the sheer fact that it is a creepy-ass monster. But the close second would have to be either Voss or the Ink Boss in Far Cry 3. Seriously. Oh, God. Now to the last two. Worst game of the year. Nominees are Resident Evil 6, Borderlands 2, Never Dead, and Lollipop Chainsaw. There are few games that piss me off as much as Never Dead. Obviously, Never Dead wins. Great idea. Hey, you could disembody yourself and roll body parts around. Terrible fucking execution. Terrible. Terrible execution. Oh, and did I mention that the game's fighting mechanics that it revolves around are flawed? Now, I'm running out of time on this, so I'm going to have to make this update 3 videos long. Next video will be my game of the year. And you're probably going to be shocked.